Hey everybody, it's Leroy from Leroy Gaming, and in today's Baldurs Gate 3 guide video, we're going to be looking at the Life Domain Subclass for the Cleric. We're going to be covering everything from providing you with information on the class at level 1, going over the stats at that level, and everything you need to know for starters. Then we're going to go and give you a full level 2 to 12 breakdown. I'm going to go over all the spells available as you level up. And then I'm also be giving you some general equipment recommendations towards the end, as well as my thoughts on multiclassing with this subclass. You can use the timestamps below to jump to the area that most interests you as always. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the Life Domain Cleric. Alright, so for starters, it's important to note that clerics at their base you have a primary ability of wisdom that they use for their spell casting, and they have saving throw proficiencies in wisdom as well as charisma. Their hit die is 1d8. Now, they're also going to have a base proficiency of all simple weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. And then in particular, when you select the Life Domain at level 1, this subclass adds heavy armor proficiency, Disciple of Life, and domain spells as features. Now, depending whether you're playing, for example, Shadowheart, which a lot of people will, you may get access because of a race to other weapons, etc. So do keep that in mind because it will expand your access to weapons outside of simple weapons depending on what race you choose. Now, again, your life domain spells are going to be spells that are going to be automatically chosen for you, and then you're going to be able to choose spells on top of that. And so for the life domain, you're always going to have Cure Wounds available and Bless. And your subclass feature is what makes the life domain basically the best, most powerful healer base class. So Disciple of Life, your devotion empowers your healing spells. When casting a healing spell, the target regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So that can be quite effective as you level up, and it really does add up over time. Now on top of that, you're going to get to choose 3 cantrips at level 1. Definitely Guidance, the most powerful, in my opinion, most useful cantrip in the game. Potentially maybe Eldritch Blast could be also one, but this one is definitely more diverse, so definitely recommend that. And then here are the other ones I'm going to mouse over. None of them are going to be as universally useful as Guidance though, so pick whichever you find interesting. Alright, now talking about ability points, I like to do 15 strength, 10 dexterity, 15 constitution, 8 intelligence, 17 wisdom, and 8 charisma. Now this might be slightly unusual, but the main reasons for this is I do not personally use Shadowheart as a main character for interactions, so you don't need charisma to be high. Intelligence, again, not using intelligence checks. Now notice they are all odd. You may be able through the game to get 1 extra bonus point to up one of these stats, but I'm assuming you're not doing that. So the idea is going to be here, we're going to pick up a feat that I'll talk about level 4 to up our constitution and increase the chance that we maintain our concentration. And then you can bump up your strength and wisdom to even numbers at another feat level. Now the reason I want higher strength is because if all you're doing is casting spells and healing, you're going to be kind of bored. She can actually be a decent combatant. Or any cleric can be a decent combatant, so having a decent strength can definitely be helpful, and if you can get it to 16, that's actually not too shabby. Now at level 1, the cleric is going to gain access to 2 level 1 spell slots, and these are the potential spells that you're going to be able to memorize. Guidance is good for offense. Healing Word, don't let the small healing amount fool you. It's great for a bonus action heal at range, And so it allows you to basically cast Cure Wounds and Healing Word if you need it in one turn. Shield of Faith is phenomenal at low levels. It is a concentration spell, but it does give you 2 more AC, so great for survival. Now at level 2, you're going to gain 1 additional level 1 spell slot, and you're going to get Channel Divinity, and you're going to get 1 chart to start with. So you gained ability to channel Divine Energy, starting with 2 effects, Turn Undead, and an effect determined by your domain. This gets replenished by short rests or long rests. And in this case, of course, this is the effective Turn Undead. And unique to this subclass is Preserve Life. Basically, evoke a healing energy that restores your allies. It heals 3 health. But remember, you're also going to get that bonus from your domain. So it's going to AoE heal quite a bit more than 3. Even at level 2, it's got a 9-meter range. Now with spells, you get to choose which ones are prepared. You can only have 5 prepared, but here are the options that you get to choose from at level 2. A big standout is Sanctuary as an addition. This is great to cast on a person if they're low health or you just res them, and as long as they don't do anything offensive, they're going to be immune to damage except for AoE damage. Create or destroy water. Creating water can definitely be a great combination if you're going to use lightning damage of other classes or if you multi-class, so do not underestimate the power of creating water. At level 3, you're going to get 1 additional level 1 spell slot, and now you're going to get 2 level 2 spell slots and access to the following spells. Now your life domain spells, the ones that are always prepared, are going to be Aid and Lesser Restoration. You'll notice they're highlighted here in red. And here are the other spells. I will again mouse over them. You can pause the video if you want to look at their details. Enhance ability can definitely be really good. You can cast this. It's a concentration spell, but it's going to give advantage to specific checks. So if you know there's going to be a lot of, let's say, wisdom-based checks for fighting secret treasures, etc., you can do charisma so that you can get advantage on all your speed checks, etc. This can be very, very good. Hold Person, also very powerful. Prayer of Healing if you want to do another AoE heal. Don't underestimate protection from poison. It does not require a concentration, and when you cast it, it's going to give you advantage on saving throws against poison and resistance to poison till the end of rest, till you do a long rest. So this is actually pretty great bang for the buck, and there are a lot of areas in the game that have a lot of poison damage. Spiritual weapons is interesting as well. Do note you cast this, and then it basically is like a summon pet that you have out there. In theory, you can have multiple spiritual weapons. And then Warding Bond, I want to point out, is very interesting. It does not need concentration. You can cast it on another person. The other person gets a lot of buffs. They get resistance to all damage, 1 AC, and saving throw. But you actually take the other half of the damage. So this is kind of a high risk reward. And be careful, because if you're concentrating on a different spell while you have this up, damage they take and then inherently that you take could cause you to lose your concentration. So situationally, this could be very powerful, but be careful. And here's the interface for level 3. Do note that, again, you still can only have, at this point, 6 spells prepared. You're going to have the ones that are automatically prepared, as we mentioned, but then across level 1 and 2 spells, you got to select from all of these. So you're not going to have access to nearly as many spells as you'd think. Okay, at level 4, you get 1 level 2 spell slot that's added. You're going to get another cantrip, and chances are you already have all the ones you want. You can now prepare 7 spells instead of 6 across all the level 1 and 2 options that we looked at. But most importantly, you get a feat. Now, unless you multi-class to a class that has proficiency and constitution saves, I highly recommend You get Resilient and pick Constitution. They'll give you 16 Constitution. And now you're going to have Proficiency in Constitution saves. And that's what's going to be critical when you do concentration checks, not to lose your basically channeling. So that's what I highly recommend. If you already have that from multiclassing, or you have 16 Constitution, the alternative would be Warcaster to gain advantage on concentration saves rather. Also gives you reaction to cast Shocking Grasp, but that's a secondary effect. So at a higher level, I'd recommend that, or take it at 4. Those are the ones that I would say are the most potent and worthwhile. Otherwise, pumping up your Wisdom by 2 points, or rather in this case, you could do Wisdom 1 to get to 18 and Strength 1 to get to 16. That's going to be the priority in my opinion as you go to 4, 8, and 12, but that's going to be up to you to decide. Okay, at level 5, you're going to gain 2 level 3 spell slots, and you're also going to get Destroy Undead. So now when you successfully turn an undead creature, it also takes 4 to 24 radiant damage. Really, really good. The Life Domain spells that are always going to be prepared are Revivify and Beacon of Hope. And then your level 3 spells are going to be Animate Dead. I'm going to, again, go over all these. Pause it if you want to see the full details. Mass Healing Word, quite effective. And Spirit Guardians, I want to especially point this out. This is extremely powerful. You cast this, this creates a 3-meter AoE around you that is always on. You select Radiant or Necrotic damage. And what is absolutely amazing is while you kept this maintained, anything runs into you procs this damage. Or what I like to do on my turns is I literally like to run around and tag things with my AoE aura, and they all take damage. I was once in an area where I was fighting undead, and I killed like 3 or 4 undead in a round just by running by them without even attacking anything directly. So Spirit Guardian is super, super powerful. It does scale up if you use higher levels of it. So if you use higher than level 3 spell slots, they're going to do more and more damage. But again, this is why concentration is so big in this subclass. If you get hit and you lose this, that's a major loss, since this can last up to, I believe, 10 rounds. And again, I do want to emphasize, you can now have up to 8 spells, but you are gaining access to spells much more quickly than you are getting these spell positions. So across all your level 1, 2, and 3 spells, you only can have 8 total prepared. At level 6, you're going to get 1 more level 3 spell slot and another charge of your Channel Divinity. And you get the feature Blessed Healer. Healing others heals you as well. This is huge. When you cast a healing spell of level 1 or higher on another creature, regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. And again, don't forget, we have the level 1 effect that's going to stack with this. Whenever you get healed, you're going to, if something targets you as well, like an AoE heal, you're going to get a ton of healing from that, as well as healing other people. So this is a great way to keep you topped off. And spell-wise, you have all the same spells, but now you can have up to 9 prepared. At level 7, you get access to level 4 spells, and you gain 1 level 4 spell slot. Your Life Domain spells are Death Ward and Guardian of Faith, that you can keep up at all times. I do want to point this out. This one you place in one spot, it will auto attack every turn, but it actually loses health when it deals damage. From practical application, considering that you can't control it, it doesn't move, and as it damages other things, as it loses health, and also it can be attacked, I don't think this is that great of an effect. Your other level 4 spells are here and here. And again, now you can have up to 10 spells prepared across all these levels. At level 8, you're going to get another level 4 spell slot and an action called Divine Strike Life. So you can strike a foe with your weapon as it becomes wreathed in gleaming radiance, and it gets you basically weapon damage plus 1d8 radiant damage. You will now have 11 spells to prep across all the levels, and then of course you get to pick a feat. And again, highly recommend for this class Warcaster if you haven't picked it up, and or Resilient as a priority. At level 9, you get one more level 4 spell slot, but you also get access to level 5 spells, and you get one level 5 spell slot. Your life domain spells that you have all the time are Mass Cure Wounds, which is amazing, and Greater Restoration. And here are the other spells of level 5 that you get access to. Flame Strike is very effective, but it's competing with a lot of other good effects. Same with Insect Plague. And again, now you can have a total of 12 spells they can choose across all these levels. At level 10, you get another level 5 spell slot. You get Divine Intervention. So you can cast Divine Intervention to invoke your god's aid. Once used, this can never be used again. Now, these are basically multiple really powerful attacks or effects. I will show them to you in just a moment, so hang tight. And I will note, because they seem to be bugged currently, or at least one of them is still bugged, and I'll mention that in a moment in a good way. And then you can have another cantrip if you needed them. You probably already have all the ones you want, but you get extra ones. And you get now 13 spells to prayer across all the levels as you see fit. Now here's the Divine Intervention. Here are the options. You can do Arm Thy Servants, call upon your deity to grant you a legendary weapon forged in the fires of your holy bond. And spoiler alert, I'll show what that looks like in just a second. Divine Intervention, Sunder the Hereticals. This is an 8d10 radiant AoE damage. It's huge AoE. You can see the circle in the distance. This does a ton of damage to everything. Now, when I cast this and utilized it previously, I do not know why, but it killed me. But then I got raised by somebody else, and I was able to use this in a future situation. It's supposed to be only a one-time use, but I was able to use it multiple times. Don't know if that bug will be fixed or not. Then the next one is Divine Intervention, Golden Generosity. Call upon your deity to provide you with a rich bounty of potions and camp supplies. Since you're going to be swimming camp supplies, I think this is a waste. And Divine Intervention, Opulent Revival. Resurrects fallen companions with half their hit points and restores all nearby allies as if they had long rested. That's pretty huge, because that means not only full health, but all their spells back. So if you're in a really tough fight and you're struggling, this is kind of your oh shit button. Can be very potent. Now let me go ahead and show you what the legendary weapon is like. There it is. So spoiler alert if you don't want to see it. It's the Devoted Mace. And it gets auto-equipped. You can see the damage it does here. Adds radiant damage. It is a +3 weapon, and it does have a class action of healing incense aura. It emanates a soothing aura. You and nearby allies regain 1 to 4 hit points at the start of your turn, and this basically lasts for 10 turns. Don't forget, all those bonuses to the healing apply to this. You can do a lot more than 1 to 4 healing to yourself and everybody else. It is a bonus action, and notice it is not concentration. So you cast this, and then just everybody's going to get healed every turn for 10 turns. So again, as a healing item, it's quite solid. At level 11, you're going to get access to 1 level 6 spell slot and access to level 6 spells. And here they are. They're all very potent. Blade Barrier is pretty nasty. Create Undead, also very good. Heal, super powerful heal, obviously. And planar ally is also quite impressive. You basically summon an angelic kind of type character to fight besides you, and they're quite effective as well. And now you have 14 different spells that you can cast. Now look away or fast forward 20 to 30 seconds if you don't want to see what the planar allies look like. But there are basically 3 of them. I'm not going to spoil all their looks right now, but I will show you their effects. So the Cambion gets Fiendish Charm, Draining Kiss, and Raise of Fire as abilities. The Diva gets Wrathful Smite, Revivify, and Concussion Smash. And the Genie, which is literally a genie, gets Sweet Plum Gales, which is really cool, Thunder Wave, and Drunken Inhale. This is the one I personally use the most. They're all quite effective depending on the situation. And let me show you, for example, what the Cambion looks like. So there you go. There's your little devil. They have a good amount of hit points. And actually, I believe the Jin had like 160 hit point. So it's the tankiest one. I've got lots of those abilities I mentioned. They're quite effective, although their AC is kind of low. And then level 12, you're going to be able to prepare up to 15 spells, and you're going to get your final feat. So again, go based off the recommendations that I mentioned. Now, when it comes to equipment, I highly recommend getting the best possible plate armor you can. There's a ton of really good heavy plate armors out there. And then I'm also a big fan of getting any items that are either gonna give you more spells to cast to support, or things that will buff your healing. So for example, this Wapira's Crown is amazing. When healing another person, the wearer regains 1 to 6 hit points. So obviously that's gonna help for you in a healing mode. Also, Boots of Aid and Comfort. So when the wearer heals a target, it gains an additional 3 temporary hit points, so even more healing. And then other items when it comes to your support items. This one's the Spellcrux Amulet's amazing. You get to regain any spell slot, and so obviously you can get another level 6 spell slot here. And then you can choose with your rings to support combat even. Here's just some examples I have. Here's a ring that will give you Thunder Wave for some diversity. Of course, get a nice shield of +2 armor class or better. And then here, for example, I gain an additional level 1 spell slot and a nice Shield of Devotion cast. But again, starting with level 1, just get any kind of shield with +2 AC. You want that AC nice and high to keep you alive. And then the best weapon you can potentially find out there. There's lots of different good options that you can find. Now when it comes to multi-classing Cleric, there's actually a lot of options. You can go pure Cleric, which is very powerful. But you could also, for example, go 1 level Cleric and then combine with a Bard, and that's going to give you more diversity. You're going to get all the benefits from that level 1 Cleric for buffing your heals, but then you're going to have more diversity when it comes to the type of spells you can cast if you don't want to just combat heal as we do here. You could also, of course, go and combo with other martial classes, so there's just a lot of different options. But I will say this is a class just going pure Cleric, very potent because the spells are so good and you have some really great high level effects as well. And that brings us to the end of our Alright guys, and that brings us to the end of our Life Domain subclass video for the Cleric. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please drop a like. Drop any comments with questions, suggestions, and or feedback. Definitely love to hear from you guys. And if you want to see more from this channel, make sure to subscribe. Alright guys, well that brings us to the end of the Life Domain subclass video for the Cleric. More videos are going to be coming with the other subclasses here shortly. If you like the content, make sure to drop a like, drop a comment with feedback, questions, or comments. Of course, if you want to see more videos from me, make sure to subscribe. As always, love all your support, and I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video.